Have you ever been told to eat more vegetables for your health? Most of us grew up believing that greens are always the right choice, especially when we're trying to manage blood sugar. But here's a surprising truth. Not all vegetables are your friend when you're over 60 and trying to keep blood sugar levels steady. In fact, a few vegetables that seem healthy on the surface can actually trigger blood sugar spikes, slow down digestion, or even put extra stress on your pancreas. The tricky part is that these aren't deep-fried or drenched in sugar. They're the kinds of veggies you'll often find in salads or side dishes at dinner. And unless you know what to look for, you might be eating them every single day, thinking you're doing something good. But don't worry. This isn't about giving up vegetables altogether. It's about making smarter choices. There are 3 vegetables that could be silently raising your blood sugar, and 3 that can help lower it faster than you might expect. Let's start by looking at the ones you may want to keep off your plate. Let's talk about corn. Yes, sweet, golden, buttery corn on the cob. It might remind you of backyard barbecues, comforting soups, or a simple side dish at dinner. But for seniors trying to lower their blood sugar, corn can quietly be one of the worst choices on the plate. Why? Because corn is technically a starchy vegetable, and that starch turns quickly into sugar once it enters your digestive system. Even a small ear of corn has a high glycemic index, which means it can cause blood sugar to rise faster than many people realize. That sweetness you taste isn't just flavor. It's glucose waiting to flood your bloodstream. And while younger people with healthy insulin sensitivity may be able to handle this sugar load better, it's a different story when you're over 60. As we age, our cells become less responsive to insulin, and that spike in blood sugar can linger longer, putting stress on your pancreas and leading to energy crashes, inflammation, and even weight gain around the belly. What's tricky is that corn doesn't feel like junk food. It feels natural. It's often served steamed, grilled, or roasted. But despite its wholesome appearance, it behaves more like white bread than leafy greens when it comes to blood sugar response. So if you've been eating corn regularly, whether in salads, soups, or from a can, it might be time to swap it out. The goal here isn't to fear food, but to understand how your body responds to it. And, unfortunately, for many seniors, corn just doesn't make the cut anymore. Next, let's look at another popular vegetable that might be sneaking onto your plate and sabotaging your blood sugar goals without you even realizing it. The next vegetable might come as a real surprise. Peas. That's right, those tiny green pearls we often toss into soups, stews, or serve as a side dish. They look harmless. After all, they're green, they're soft, and they've been part of dinner plates for generations. But when it comes to managing blood sugar, peas are more problematic than most people think. Like corn, peas are technically a starchy vegetable. While they do contain some fiber and vitamins, they're also relatively high in natural sugars and carbohydrates. 1 cup of cooked green peas contains nearly 20 grams of carbs, and for someone who's trying to keep blood sugar steady, that's not a small number. The challenge with peas is that they often ride under the radar. They're not sweet like candy or soft drinks, so we don't associate them with sugar. But because of their starch content, they can still lead to post-meal blood sugar spikes. This is especially important for seniors whose metabolism has slowed down and whose insulin response may no longer be as sharp as it once was. Even canned or frozen peas, which seem like convenient and healthy options, can contribute to these sugar surges if eaten frequently or in large portions. And while a small spoonful every now and then isn't going to cause major harm, regularly treating peas as a safe vegetable might be holding you back from reaching better blood sugar control. So while peas aren't the worst offenders out there, they can definitely make a difference, especially if you're eating them often without realizing their impact. Let's move on to one more vegetable that may surprise you even more, because it's often labeled as healthy but may do more harm than good for blood sugar over time. Now here's a vegetable that might truly catch you off guard. Beets. Yes, the same beets that are praised for their color, antioxidants, and supposed heart health benefits. And while it's true that beets contain valuable nutrients like folate and nitrates, they also come with something not often discussed: natural sugars, and quite a bit of them. Beets are one of the few vegetables that have a high sugar content despite their earthy, non-sweet taste. In fact, just 1 cup of cooked beets contains about 13 grams of sugar, which is more than many people realize. This makes them one of the highest sugar vegetables on the table, and for seniors managing prediabetes or type 2 diabetes, that matters. The natural sugars in beets are quickly absorbed into the bloodstream, especially when the beets are roasted, boiled, or juiced. That quick sugar release can cause a spike in blood glucose, followed by the usual crash that leaves you feeling tired, foggy, or even hungrier than before. Now, beets aren't inherently bad. They do have their place in a balanced diet for some people. But if you're trying to lower blood sugar fast, or struggling with insulin resistance, then beets might be doing the exact opposite of what you intend. The irony is that many well-meaning seniors include beets in smoothies or salads thinking they're helping their health, when in reality they're just nudging their glucose numbers higher. So before you roast another tray of beets or blend one into your morning shake, pause for a moment. Ask yourself how your body feels after eating them. For some, they may not cause a problem, but for many older adults trying to regain control over their blood sugar, beets are better left off the regular rotation. Now that we've covered the vegetables you should be cautious with, let's shift gears and talk about the exciting part. 3 vegetables that can actually help lower blood sugar quickly and support your energy and health every single day. Let's start with one of the most underrated vegetables when it comes to blood sugar control: bitter melon. If you're not familiar with it, bitter melon looks like a bumpy cucumber and lives up to its name in flavor. But don't let the bitterness turn you away. This humble vegetable has been used for centuries in traditional medicine, especially in Asian cultures, for one powerful reason: it helps lower blood sugar naturally. Bitter melon contains compounds that act very similarly to insulin. These compounds help glucose move from the bloodstream into cells, which lowers blood sugar levels more efficiently. Several studies have shown that bitter melon can reduce fasting blood sugar and improve glucose tolerance, especially in people with type 2 diabetes or prediabetes. It's also high in fiber, which slows the digestion of carbohydrates and prevents sudden spikes in glucose after meals. This makes it a double win. It helps reduce the sugar already in your system and prevents more from hitting your bloodstream too quickly. Now, bitter melon might not win any awards for taste, especially if you're trying it for the first time. But it can be prepared in a way that tones down the bitterness. Try slicing it thin and sautéing with garlic and onions, or adding it to a stir-fry with protein and other low-carb vegetables. You don't need to eat a full plate of it either. Just a few bites a day can make a noticeable difference. If you've been struggling to bring your blood sugar down naturally and haven't tried bitter melon yet, this might be the missing piece. It's not magic, but it's a smart, science-backed choice that could offer real support. Next, let's look at a more familiar vegetable that's just as powerful when it comes to balancing blood sugar. Next on the list is something much more familiar and easier to find: spinach. That leafy green sitting quietly in your fridge could actually be one of the most powerful tools for controlling blood sugar, especially if you eat it regularly. Spinach is naturally low in calories and carbohydrates, but what makes it truly special is its fiber and magnesium content. Both are essential for seniors who are trying to keep their blood sugar in check. Fiber slows down how quickly sugar enters your bloodstream, while magnesium plays a direct role in improving insulin sensitivity. The more sensitive your cells are to insulin, the better they can handle glucose. Beyond that, Spinach is packed with antioxidants and anti-inflammatory compounds. This matters more than you might think, because chronic inflammation can interfere with how your body uses insulin. By calming inflammation and improving blood flow, spinach helps create the kind of internal environment where balanced blood sugar is possible. And here's the best part. Spinach is incredibly versatile. You can toss it into omelets, sauté it with garlic and olive oil, blend it into a smoothie, or even mix it raw into salads. It doesn't have an overpowering taste, so it plays well with almost any dish. Plus, it's gentle on digestion, which is important for older adults who may struggle with heavier vegetables. Eating spinach a few times a week may seem like a small step, but over time, those small steps really add up. It's the kind of habit that doesn't feel like a chore but quietly works in your favor day after day. And when combined with other blood sugar-friendly foods, it becomes even more effective. Now, let's turn to one final vegetable that not only helps with blood sugar but also supports your gut and heart at the same time. The third vegetable you should definitely keep in your weekly routine is broccoli. It might seem ordinary, even a little boring, but when it comes to lowering blood sugar and supporting overall health, broccoli is a quiet powerhouse. What makes broccoli so effective isn't just that it's low in carbohydrates and high in fiber, though both are true. It's also rich in a compound called sulforaphane. This natural plant chemical has been studied for its ability to reduce oxidative stress and improve insulin sensitivity, both of which are critical for keeping blood sugar stable. In some studies, sulforaphane has even been shown to help reduce blood sugar levels in people with type 2 diabetes. On top of that, broccoli is one of the best vegetables for gut health. Its fiber supports the growth of healthy gut bacteria, which plays a huge role in blood sugar regulation. A healthy gut can actually improve how your body processes glucose and how efficiently insulin works throughout the day. And let's not forget that broccoli is easy to prepare. You can steam it, roast it, stir-fry it, or even eat it raw in a salad. Try pairing it with a drizzle of olive oil or a sprinkle of lemon juice for extra flavor and added health benefits. Olive oil also helps with insulin sensitivity, making the combination even better. Some seniors shy away from broccoli because they think it causes bloating or gas, but if you start with smaller portions and cook it lightly, most of those issues disappear. Over time, your digestive system adapts, and your blood sugar will thank you for it. Now that we've covered the 3 vegetables you should embrace, let's talk about how to actually make them a regular part of your daily meals without turning every lunch and dinner into a science project. So now you know which vegetables can help you lower your blood sugar. But the real question is, how do you actually work them into your daily meals without turning your kitchen into a lab? The good news is, it's easier than you think. You don't need fancy recipes or complicated prep. Just a few simple habits can make these veggies a natural part of your routine. Let's start with bitter melon. Since it has a strong taste, you don't need much. Try slicing it thin, soaking it in salt water for 15 minutes to reduce the bitterness, then stir-frying it quickly with garlic, onions, or a bit of lean protein like chicken or tofu. You could also try adding a few slices to soup or broth, letting the flavor mellow out with other ingredients. Even having it 2 or 3 times a week can support your blood sugar goals. As for spinach, the easiest approach is to treat it like a base. Instead of rice or bread, add a handful of spinach to your plate first and build your meal around it. Throw it into scrambled eggs at breakfast, mix it with tuna or avocado for lunch, or sauté it as a side at dinner. You can even blend it into smoothies without affecting the taste much. Just toss in a handful with some unsweetened almond milk, chia seeds, and a few berries. Broccoli is even more flexible. Steam a big batch early in the week and store it in the fridge. That way, you can quickly warm it up as a side dish or mix it into pasta, soups, or grain bowls. Roasting it with a touch of olive oil and garlic gives it a delicious flavor, and makes it a satisfying snack or dinner addition. You can also combine it with other low-carb vegetables like bell peppers or zucchini to add variety. Remember, consistency is key. You don't have to eat all three of these vegetables every day. Just pick one and use it in a way that works for your taste and lifestyle. Over time, those little choices begin to shape your blood sugar, your energy levels, and even your mood. Let's wrap this up with one final thought. Because sometimes, the hardest part isn't knowing what to do. It's believing that something this small can really make a difference. It's easy to feel overwhelmed when it comes to health, especially blood sugar. The numbers, the labels, the advice from every direction. One day it's all about cutting carbs. The next it's about counting calories. But here's the truth. It doesn't have to be complicated. Sometimes, the most powerful changes come from the simplest shifts, like choosing the right vegetables. Maybe you've been eating corn and peas your whole life. Maybe you added beets to your meals, thinking they were helping. And maybe no one ever told you that those choices could be quietly working against you. That's not your fault. Most of us were never taught how food really affects blood sugar, especially as we get older. But now you know. And that knowledge gives you power. You don't have to do everything at once. You don't need a perfect diet. You just need to start noticing how you feel after certain foods. Does your energy drop an hour after lunch? Do you feel more clear-headed when you eat spinach instead of potatoes? Your body is always talking. You just have to listen. So maybe this week, you try something new. You swap corn for sautéed spinach. You skip the peas and toss broccoli into your dinner. You give bitter melon a shot, even if it's just a few bites. These aren't giant changes, but they can lead to giant results. More steady energy, fewer blood sugar spikes, better sleep, even a bit more confidence that you're moving in the right direction. You've got this. Your plate doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to work for you. And with the right vegetables, it can do more than just fill you up. It can help you take back control of your blood sugar, your strength, and your life.